Yo! What is up, guys? We are back, and today we're talking about the Nintendo Switch. Now, I've done plenty of videos on the Nintendo Switch in the past. Please excuse all these blankets. It's really cold in here, and my heater stopped working, so that's great. Um, but yeah, so we're talking about the Nintendo Switch today. I've done many videos on the Nintendo Switch in the past. This video probably being my final video on the topic, unless some news comes up that I feel is relevant to bring up. And the reason why I'm doing a video on it now is because as of Wednesday of this week, which is just a couple days away, I will have had my Nintendo Switch for an entire year now. So I wanted to kind of take a look back, show you guys what games I've kind of collected over the past year, see if there's any in the lot that I particularly regret getting. Um, and also just kind of seeing if there's what kind of damages my Switch may or may not have gotten over the past year, which, spoiler alert, it has been damaged over the past year. So I just wanted to see how the Switch is holding up, what my opinions are on it now as opposed to when I first got it, if anything's changed on that regard. And what games I've gotten for it in the past year, and if there's any of the games I have that I regret getting. So let's hop right in. First, let's talk about the games. So we'll hop right on in, and let's see. Give it just a second here, guys. Just a second. It always takes a second to load in. When I'm in OBS. There we go. So here are all of my games, minus YouTube, which is an application and not a game. Um, so, I have Arena of Valor, which I literally just downloaded. I haven't even played it yet. Oh, excuse me. But that was free. So if it's good, I'll keep it. If it's not good, I'll delete it. But I literally just downloaded that, so I haven't played that one yet. I have Super Mario Odyssey, which I also got for free. Not because I bought the Odyssey Edition Switch or whatever, Odyssey bundle, I should say. But because I signed into my nephew's account, who did get the Odyssey bundle, and I just downloaded it from his account. So I got that one for free. I'll probably end up buying my own copy at some point, just because I like physical copies better. But so far, I'm really enjoying Super Mario Odyssey. There really isn't anything bad I can say about it. Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, I am absolutely loving Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Great game. I haven't played Let's Go Pikachu, but more or less it's the same thing. There are a few minor differences, but more or less it's the same game. So Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, great games. Definitely check them out. And then obviously the YouTube app, which is not a game, but I do wanna point out something about the YouTube app since we're talking about all this stuff that bothers me just a little bit. And they could potentially fix this in an update. I don't think they have any plans to do that because I don't think anybody over at YouTube or Nintendo sees this as a problem. And more or less it's not a problem. It's just a minor annoyance. I've noticed whenever you're in undocked mode, so if you're in tabletop mode, handheld mode, whatever, you can't use the touchscreen to like scroll through videos, and but you can use the touchscreen to search for videos, but you can't use it to scroll through videos, which is really annoying. Because ideally I would have liked to have just had like the Joy-Cons detached and had those set away, and just have the Switch as like a little tablet when I'm watching on YouTube. That would have been really nice, but it doesn't let you use the touchscreen when you're undocked. Unless you're using it to type to search a video, which is a little annoying, but, you know, whatever. That's not a big deal. Fortnite, I mainly only have it downloaded in case I want to do a YouTube video on it. We've done a couple streams. Honestly, I don't think it's that great of a game. Controversial statement. But I don't think Fortnite's that great. I've played maybe 6 hours of it, which sounds like a lot, but when you look at people who actually play Fortnite, that's like nothing. But I mean, I can see the appeal. It's just not my kind of game. I might even end up deleting it, to be honest. Plus, it runs better on my PC anyway. But then we have the Nintendo Entertainment System, which if we hop into that, we can see we have all of these Nintendo games. Now, I'm not going to go through all of them and give my opinion on each one, just because, one, I haven't played all of them yet, and two, that would make this video really fucking long. So basically, here's all of our games. I'm just going to scroll through. Let's see, we got Gradius Special Edition, which is just an easier version. Dr. Mario, Donkey Kong, Super Mario Bros. 3, Excitebike, Baseball, Ice Hockey, Balloon Fight, Pro Wrestling, Soccer, Ghost and Goblins, River City Ransom, NES Open, Gradius, the normal version, and not the easier version, Ice Climber, Double Dragon, Legend of Zelda, Tecmo Bowl, Tennis, Mario Bros., the original Mario Bros., Yoshi, the Legend of Zelda Special Edition, which again is just an easier version, Super Dodgeball, Solomon's Key, Metroid, Mighty Bomb Jack, and Twinbee. So those are all of the games that are on here as of recording this video. They do add 3 each month, and it seems like they also add a special edition each month. So that's to keep noted. But as of recording this, those are all the games that are on there. So we can go ahead and hop out of that. Again, I'm not going to give my opinion on each game because I haven't played all of those yet, and also that would make this video much longer than it really needs to be. So moving on, we have Warframe, which when I first heard Warframe was coming to Switch, I was a little concerned. Until I found out that Panic Button were the people who were porting it over, and then all of my concerns just kind of melted away. And now that it's out, which it is free, you can download it for free, now that it's out, I can say probably some of the best work Panic Button has done for the Switch so far. A lot of the games I have were actually ported by Panic Button. I'll point some out as we go through the rest of the list. But Warframe on this does support local voice chat, which is great. They do have, for a limited time, you can migrate your account from PC to the Nintendo Switch version. Which, that's up to you if you want to do that. But overall, it's Warframe on the Switch. It's great. It's really, really great. I plan to do a video on it at some point. I've just been really busy, but I love it. It's great. It's a great addition to the Switch library. And it's free, so you have no reason not to try it. Speaking of free games, Brawlhalla, which I've actually had a lot of fun with, and it's also free. It's basically a Smash clone with a few minor differences, and it's actually really fun. In all honesty, as soon as Smash Bros. Ultimate comes out, I'll probably never play Brawlhalla again. But in the meantime, if you're looking for something that kind of feels like Smash, that's on the Switch, and because you're waiting for Smash to come out on the Switch and it's not out yet, this is a good game to tide you over. And honestly, even after Smash comes out, like, this is different enough from Smash that it can pretty much be its own thing. And I've actually had a lot of fun playing it, so that's a good game there. Then we have Doom, which was also ported by Panic Button, and my god, it is amazing that they got this running on the Switch as well as it does. Now, I will admit there are parts of the campaign where you will see frame dips, but like it's super late game where there's just shit everywhere, and it only really happens whenever you have a lot of explosions and stuff going on. But if you've seen my playthrough of it, you will see that in some of the later episodes there were some frame dips, which is unfortunate to see, but it was in no way like game breaking, right? So overall, online multiplayer runs smoothly, no dips at all, unless you have a bad network connection, which isn't the game's fault or the Switch fault, that's your network's fault. Um, so overall, great game on the Switch, great addition, and I cannot wait for Doom Eternal, which is also being ported by Panic Button, to come out probably later next year, I would imagine. Um, so, Pokemon Quest, which is another free game. I've actually had a lot of fun playing this game. It's definitely different from other Pokemon games, as it's a spin-off. But it's actually really fun. I do have a recommendation for anybody who wants to play this. Don't buy any of the DLC. Not that the DLC isn't worth buying, but from everybody I've heard who's bought the DLC for the game, it just makes the game way too easy, and then you beat the entire thing in like 3 hours. I haven't bought the DLC, and I have... Let's see, does it tell me how many hours I have in this? It probably does. You know what, let's see. How many hours do I have in Pokemon Quest? Because I know it's a lot. Let's see. I have... It should tell me. 5 hours or more. It's probably way more than 5 hours. That's not that accurate. But my point is... Definitely, if you're gonna play this, I don't recommend getting the DLC, because honestly, it ruins the experience more than adding to it, in my opinion. Mega Man 11. Fucking fantastic game. An amazing comeback for the Mega Man franchise. If you're a Mega Man person... If you're a Mega Man fan, if you like run and guns, or you want to get into Mega Man, but you don't really want to play any of the older stuff, which I do recommend playing the older stuff. But if you just want to get into Mega Man, this is a really good kind of introduction to it, because you can kind of create your own difficulty. You can play the game hardest difficulty, no item shop, none of that, and you have a really hard challenge ahead of you. Or you can just play it casually. Like, there's a lot of options here for a lot of different play styles. And honestly, it's a really solid title for the Mega Man franchise. So that being said, great game. Definitely worth getting. Super Mario Party is also a fantastic game. I've had a lot of fun with it, and I haven't even played all of the modes yet. I've only played like 2 of them. But it's a fantastic game. If you're concerned for the Mario Party franchise, you don't need to be concerned anymore. The last 2 in the franchise were terrible, this one kind of takes what they did wrong and fixes it. So it's great. My only complaint is the online features, which, to be fair, this is kind of the first in the franchise to have online features, as far as I'm aware. But the online for it is lackluster at best. You can only play mini games with friends online, not the full blown game. And at that, you can't even play all of the mini games, only a select few. It's a very odd decision for the online multiplayer. So if you were getting this game specifically with the mindset that you're gonna play Mario Party online, like the actual Mario Party experience online with your friends, you may be disappointed. Um, but for local play, it's got everything you could possibly need and more. And honestly, I absolutely love it. That being said, Dark Souls Remastered. Um, it's Dark Souls Remastered. You know, it's Dark Souls. Okay, if you're looking for a challenge, there you go. They literally say in the advertisement, in the advertisements for it, die anywhere. You can die at your home, you can die on the go because it's on the Switch. Just die anywhere you want. So yeah, I haven't played enough of Dark Souls yet to give my full opinion on it, but I've enjoyed what I've played so far. It's definitely a challenging game, not for the faint of heart, but it is on the Switch and it runs well on the Switch. Next, we have Life Goes On, which is a very interesting puzzle platformer with sort of a twist. You use dead bodies as to complete the puzzles. So you'll have your little character, you'll purposefully kill him, let's say to have his body push a pressure plate or add a platform for your next guy to get over some spikes or something. It's a very interesting twist to the puzzle platformer, and for what it is, it works well. It's a relatively cheap game. I've had fun playing it, but there definitely are better options out there if you only have a small amount of money to buy games. There are other options out there. But it's not a bad game. I've had fun playing it, and I will continue to have fun playing it. Um, Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy, I'm going to be a little biased here because I'm huge nostalgia for the original Crash Bandicoot games. So I'm gonna try to keep it short with this one because this episode is going a lot longer than I would have liked to it have gone. But I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. It's everything I've ever wanted, and it's on the Switch. So that being said, Hollow Knight. This is again one of the ones that I haven't played enough of it to give a full opinion, but from what I have played, I will say it's good. It's good. It's interesting. It almost reminds me of Dark Souls, but if Dark Souls was a side scroller, if that makes sense. Um, Now I don't think it's quite as difficult as Dark Souls, but it does have kind of a Dark Souls feel to it, if that makes sense. Um, and it's got an amazing art style that I absolutely love. Next, we have The Bunker, which is a very interesting game. If you've seen my playthrough of this, it's a story-driven game where all of the scenes. It's a point and click, which if you're not into point and click games, you can probably just avoid this game altogether. But I will say, for what it is, it's very enjoyable. It's all live action recordings to make up this point and click adventure. It's got like a sort of apocalypse, nuclear bunker, survival kind of vibe to it. And it's got like mystery elements to it, and you kind of learn what's going on as you progress. And I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who wants to try it, But I will say that if you're not into point and click games, avoid this one. If you are into point and click games, or if you don't mind point and click games, this is a really good one for the Switch. So that's entirely up to your preference, but I would recommend it. I had a lot of fun playing it, and it was really well done. Uh, Polybridge. Polybridge, I will actually say, this is one of the first ones on the list I actually regret buying. And I want to be very clear as to why I regret buying it. It's not that it's a bad game. Polybridge is a fantastic game, but I think it's better on other platforms. And the reason why I say that is because when you're in docked mode, it forces you to use the Joy-Con as kind of like a Wii remote, and you're constantly having to recenter the calibrations for it, and it's just very finicky and just simply does not work. However, if you play it in handheld mode, you can use the touchscreen, which I'm going to say, if you're going to play this game on Switch, that is the way you should play it. It's a lot easier. It doesn't make the game any easier, but it makes the playing experience easier because you're not having to do this the entire time and literally hold your arm up because your arm gets fucking tired, and it's a big hassle to play it while it's docked. But in handheld mode, this would actually be a really great game for road trips or just when you have some spare time and you just want to chill out. So if you're gonna play it on Switch, I would recommend handheld mode only for this one. But if you're just interested in the game, I would recommend getting it on a different platform. That being said, we're moving on to Paladins, which is free. I'm not super into Paladins, to be honest. What I really want is Overwatch on the Switch, and this is the closest thing to Overwatch on the Switch that we have right now. So if you're holding out for Overwatch, this is the closest thing we got for right now. So it's not a bad game. I've played it. It's not bad. It's just not Overwatch, and I'm a big Overwatch guy. So that being said, I don't regret it because it was free. If you got the paid version, which there was a paid version for this, when it first came to Switch, that was like $30. I would have regretted that. But this is free, so you know it is what it is. It's a free game that wants to be Overwatch, but it's not. So I'm probably gonna piss people off with that actually, because there's a really big Paladins community as well. But like, it's not bad. It's not a bad game. I just wish it was Overwatch. That being said, Hand of Fate 2. This is another one that I actually regret buying. Not that it's not bad. It's not a bad game by any means. It's just not what I initially thought it would be when I saw the trailers for it. I still play it. I still find a lot of fun in it. It's kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons sort of thing. But whenever you get into a battle scenario, you actually have to play out those battles. And sort of like, the best way I can describe it is like a Fable 2 kind of combat system. It feels very much like Fable 2. If any of y'all have ever played Fable 2, or Fable 3, that's kind of what it feels like whenever you're in the combat scenarios. It's not a bad game, just not what I thought it was going to be when I saw the trailers. So I regret buying it, not because it's not a good game, but because I actually spent a lot of money on this game. I think I spent like $40 or something like that. I think you can get it for cheaper now, but I think I spent $40. Had it been closer to $20, I probably wouldn't regret it at all. Um, but overall, it's not a bad game. It's just know what you're getting into with it before you buy it, because it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Fallout Shelter, I'm actually considering delete it because I played it like twice and haven't played it since. It was free though, so there are no regrets there. It's a Fallout spin-off kind of thing. I find it very strange we haven't gotten like an actual Fallout game for the Switch. I don't expect us to get Fallout 76, but like we could get something at least. Not this. Um, Personally, I would say pass on this one. But if you're into resource management games, then this is the game for you. Rocket League, which was also ported over by Panic Button, fucking fantastic. I love it. It's Rocket League. That's all you have to say. It's a great game, very fun, definitely recommended. Plus, if you get the Nintendo Switch version, you get some exclusives like the Mario and Luigi car, and then I think like a Mario hat you can put on your car. Like it's really cool. Definitely worth it. Um, no Thing is a very cheap game. I think it's like $1 or something crazy like that. And it is kind of a repetitive game, but it's very fun and very addicting actually. Uh, so I would recommend it. It's low enough in price that I would recommend it for what it is. If it was like any higher than $5, I would say pass on this one. But I honestly think I paid like $1 for this game or something crazy like that. So for if it's any more than $5, I would pass on this one. Otherwise, it's a good game for what it is. Midnight Deluxe won me over with its art style. And you know, I got it because of the art style, and I stayed playing it because of the gameplay. Overall, great game, and it's relatively cheap too. I think it's like less than $10 if I remember correctly. Either way, great game. If I'm not going to go too far into it because this episode is going a lot longer than I would have liked to it have gone. Um, but if you're not sure what it is, you can look up reviews on it. But I think it's fantastic. Skyrim, I honestly got for only two reasons. One, I had never played Skyrim before. And two, I got it so I could do like YouTube stuff on it and stuff. I got bored after a little while, to be honest, but that's probably just me. Um, but for what it is, it's Skyrim. If you like Skyrim, you'll like Skyrim on the Switch. If you don't like Skyrim, then don't fucking buy it. There you go. I will say the Switch version does have Legend of Zelda themed exclusives that you can get. So if that's something that piques your interest, there you go. If you're into the Skyrim modding scene, which has been around since Skyrim existed, people are actually now modding Skyrim on the Switch. I'm not sure how much is involved in doing that, but if you're into the modding scene for Skyrim, it is alive on the Switch as well. I'm not sure how much, but I have heard of people modding it on the Switch. So that is to be um, to be noted. Membrane is another one of those games that won me over with the art style. I did get a little bored with it after about the fifth or sixth level. I'll probably come back to it actually. Um, but it's one of those ones that won me with the art style, and then that was pretty much it. I would say stay away from this one. It's not bad. It's just it's a puzzle platformer. There's a lot of puzzle platformers out there, and I would say there are better options than this one. That being said, however, that being said, however, this one is really cheap. So if you're on a budget and you want a puzzle platformer, then this is good for you. Um, but if you're not on like a very fixed budget, there are better options. Nintendo Labo. I actually don't regret buying this. It was very expensive. It was $70 plus tax. I don't regret it though, because I spent 9 hours just building all of the stuff for it, and I still play it every now and then. It's really cool whenever you have company over and they've never seen Nintendo Labo before. It's like it makes for a good conversation piece, and kind of like a party sort of thing. Like, oh, check out this piano that's made of cardboard or whatever. Like, it's a gimmick, right? But I think at the price point it is, it's worth it. Especially for younger audiences. I think the best thing about the particular kit I have is the keyboard. Um, and then Sonic Forces, which is actually the first game I got. Um, well, what can I say about it? It's a Sonic game. It's not a bad Sonic game. I mean, that's highly debatable. I don't regret buying it. So let me just start with that. I don't regret buying it because I had a lot of fun playing it. Um, but it's a Sonic game. You know, there's this sort of, stigma with Sonic games. I will say this is one of the better ones. It's not better than Colors or Generations. But it's one of the better ones. It's not as bad. It's definitely not Sonic 06 by any means. Um, I'd say if you're a Sonic fan, this is one of the better Sonic games. If you're trying to get into like Sonic games, which I don't really think anybody is at this point, but if you are, I think there's better games that you can start with. I would say start with Generations, but the thing is, Generations is full of like nostalgia, so you kind of have to play some of the other ones before you play Generations. So it's like, oh, I get all of these references now. It's like City Escape and Generations fucking blew me away when I first saw it. Um, but I would say like Sonic Colors, Sonic Adventure 2, it, hell, even Sonic Mania. Like, those are the ones you should probably start with if you're trying to get into the Sonic franchise. But this is not a bad Sonic game. It's not great, but it's not bad. So I'd say if you're a Sonic fan, you've probably already bought it. To be honest, let's be honest. If you're a Sonic fan, you've probably already bought it. If you're a Sonic fan and you haven't bought it, it's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. So that is all of the games. So that being said, let's go over some of the other stuff I wanted to talk about. I do apologize that this episode has gone on as long as it has, because I wasn't planning for this to happen. But let's actually look at the Switch itself now, because I do want to point out that my Switch has been damaged since I originally got it. And it's not by, like, negligence or anything like that. It's just over the period of time that I've been using it, it has sort of damaged itself. Now, I pointed this out in a previous video, but you can see here, if you look very close, it's very minor. I'm not gonna, like, so long as the Switch functions properly, then I don't really care, but this might bother some people. You can actually see, if I can hold this straight here, you can see there is a slight curve right about here where the switch actually sort of curves upward. It's not supposed to be like that. That's actually from the switch getting really hot in the dock and actually causing it to warp. Now, it may be a little hard to see on camera, but believe me, in person, it's very noticeable. If you put it on a flat surface, like, here we go. Here we go. I actually have the Nintendo Switch box right here. So if you put it on a flat surface, you can see, let's see, if I can get the camera, you can see there. There, you see how that corner is not, oh, well, the switch fell off, but you can see how that corner was not touching the flat surface. That's because it's bent. Now, again, me personally, I don't care about this, because so long as the Switch functions properly, that's all that I care about. However, there are some people with like OCD and stuff that would like really annoy them. So it is important to note that is a thing that will happen to most consoles, most Switches, if you use it in the dock excessively. That being said, moving on, you can actually see, I don't know if this will show up on camera, but you can see there are, let's see, I'm going to try to see if I can get this to show on camera. It's probably not going to, but you have to take my word for it. There are a lot of scratches here from taking it in and out of the dock. Luckily, this is a screen protector on here. It's tempered glass screen protector, so the Switch itself underneath, I think, has like one scratch on it, just because that was before I got my screen protector. But definitely get a screen protector. Highly recommend the tempered glass ones, because the film ones are going to leave a lot of bubbles, and they just don't work very well. So tempered glass screen protector, definitely recommend. One of the things that has happened, and this is sort of my fault and not the Switch's fault, it's sort of Nyko's fault as well, to be honest. This is an aftermarket Nyko kickstand, and what you'll notice is it is very easy for that kickstand to come out, and that's not supposed to happen. That's actually because this kickstand, the Nyko kickstand, is made of a harder metal than the bracket that's in here to hold the original kickstand. So what happens is, over time, it will actually damage that bracket in there, causing it to be very loose. And again, that's not the Switch's fault, that's kind of Nyko's fault for not thinking about that. And that's kind of my fault for buying a third-party, kickstand. To be fair, though, so long as it isn't falling out, it does work better than the original kickstand, and it does have a little storage space for an extra SD card in there. So if you're going to get one of these Nyko stands, just keep that in mind, that is a thing that can happen. So just keep that in mind. Other than that, everything on the Switch unit itself functions as it should. I do want to point out there are a bunch of scratches on the back here. You can actually see that. This scratch right here, these cluster of scratches, that's just from going in and out of the dock. There isn't really any way to prevent that, unfortunately, unless you just buy replacement back plates and swap them out every now and then. But yeah, so it will scratch the back as well when you're coming in and out of the dock a bunch. But other than that, everything on the Switch unit itself functions as it should. All of the Joy-Cons still work as they should. I've actually never run out of batteries on the Joy-Cons since I've had it. And I've had it for a year. And I've used them every day for a year. Never ran out of battery. Now, that's because I always put it on the dock when I'm done. But yeah, I've never run out of battery on the Joy-Cons before. So that being said, let's move on to the dock itself. Now, I've done several videos on the dock not working properly, and yeah, it still doesn't work properly. It works properly sometimes, and then other times it will actually require you to unplug everything and plug everything back in to get it to work properly. This is ever since the 5.0 update. We're now on like 6.1, and they still haven't fixed it. And there's also reports of switches, the docks breaking permanently, where the light flashes. And people are calling that the green light of death, which is kind of like a nod to the red ring of death from the Xbox era. But yeah, and I can only theorize what's happening in those instances is that the board in here is getting hot, and it's overheating a capacitor. The capacitor dies, and then it doesn't work anymore. That's my theory. That's my theory for that. I don't have any evidence to back that up. But I do know that inside of here, the actual board that's in there, which is about this big, does not have any passive cooling or air cooling. So it's very likely it's just getting really hot over an extended period of time, which can cause it to break. So hopefully if we get a revision of the dock, they add like a little tiny fan in there just to help alleviate that. But my dock works fine. Every now and then I'll have to take the power cables out and plug them back in to get it to work. But I've never had a scenario where I wasn't able to fix it in less than 5 minutes. So it is important to note that. So now that we've talked about all of this, all the games, the dock, the Switch, all that, I'm going to say that my opinion on the Switch still stands. I absolutely love it as a console, as a platform. The third-party support is insane. It really is a great console. However, it does have problems, as I've previously stated. And if you haven't gotten a Switch yet, and you're wanting to get a Switch, I highly recommend waiting for the next hardware revision, because we know we're getting one. Nintendo obviously knows that there's problems with the Switch, and I expect to see a lot of those problems fixed with the next hardware revision, which will probably be coming 2019 if I had to guess. Probably around Christmas, because they know they're going to sell shit during Christmas time. That's speculation. We don't know exactly when, but anyway, that being said, that's pretty much all I have to say. Overall, I love the Switch. I love most of the games I've gotten for it thus far. I will be getting Smash Bros. For it in like 2 weeks as of recording this. So yeah, that's about it. So, yep, short, everything, short story, I love my Switch. I love most of what I have on it. And I can't wait to see the future for the Switch and the Switch games, because it's a very bright future. But yeah, that's about it. So thank all you guys for watching. I'm sorry this episode went on as long as it has. This very well could have just been a live stream at this point. That's my bad. But anyway, thank all you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and become one of the ground babies. I'll see all you guys next time. And let me know down below if you have a Switch, what you think about it, and what games you've collected for it so far. I'd be interested to see what you guys have to say. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, guys.